Today we'll be taking a look at shapers, the key components of them, their capabilities, and some add-on accessories that can help make this the cornerstone of your shop. And for this video, I'm going to be focusing on this 3 horsepower model. A shaper is essentially a beefed up router table that enables you to do larger production runs of millwork, which is trims and profiles, as well as things like cabinet door construction in bulk. Why is that? They're built around a dedicated motor with more torque than a smaller router, which makes taking larger cuts possible. That powerful motor also can run larger cutters than most router tables. The motor, which I'll show you here, drives the belt, and you can see that there are actually 2 speed options based on the motor pulley for this machine. The belt is connected to the spindle housing and the spindle itself. So let's take it to the top side and look at the spindle. Looking down through the table insert, you'll see the spindle. This shaper comes with several sizes of spindle, which is another benefit to the shaper's capacity. Larger spindle options allow you to run larger cutters, which provide more rigidity during heavier cuts. The spindle itself is held in place with a drawbar and a nut that is below the table. To change out your spindle, simply unthread the drawbar nut, remove the spindle and drawbar, then reinsert the drawbar into a new spindle, ensuring that you have 10 to 15 threads. Reinsert it, put the nut back in place, and you're ready to go. I just want to point out that router tables and shapers both have a place in the wood shop and often overlap in their capabilities. Routers can be great for smaller profiles and can also be used for larger profiles. They just may require more passes to do it. For this particular 3 horsepower shaper, Grizzly does offer a spindle insert for router bits with collets from 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch, which is a really handy thing to have on hand. But as I mentioned, it has a lot of overlaps in capability of each machine type. Shapers typically have a pretty robust fence setup, and this one is a heavy-duty cast iron fence. The fence on either side of the cutter head is movable, so depending on the cutter profile being used, you can unlock this fence, rotate the knobs on top to move them inside and out to the desired offset, then lock it back down. Now up top is a cutter head guard and hold downs. And on this 3 horsepower model, we also have a dust chute that you can purchase, and I'll put a link in the description below. As you can imagine, dust collection is a big part of using a shaper, and you'll want to connect a collector with at least 400 CFM. Now, having a large flat work table is a big part of shapers as well because of the different kinds of work pieces you're likely to run through. For large door panels, having a larger table adds a lot of support and safety, especially on those end grain cuts. On fancy panels like a curved design, you can also use something like a panel shaping jig, like this. This kind of jig has a pneumatic ram system that holds the workpiece in place while you run the entire thing along a guide bearing, and it keeps your hands free and clear of the cut area and a firm hold on oddly shaped workpieces. Next on our shaper grand tour is the front of the machine, or the control panel if your machine has a dedicated pedestal. Out front, you'll see that there is a spindle height hand wheel and a height scale. And to the side is the magnetic switch with the on-off and reversing switch. Not every machine will come with a reversing switch, but it can be a handy thing for specific types of wood where running material in the forward direction can cause you excessive tear out, or if you want to flip the cutter upside down. Now, we highly recommend that you take extra precautions if you intend to do a cut in the reverse position, using as many safety measures as possible, including a power feed for the best results. Now, a power feeder is a great safety device to keep your hands away from the cutter head, and its main purpose is to smoothly and consistently feed your material through, while also keeping pressure down on the table and against the fence. That helps ensure that you have a nice, even profile on your workpiece, plus you can run a lot of material very quickly for projects like base molding or crown molding. You may have noticed that this machine is actually mobile, and that can make a big difference when you're operating in a smaller shop or when you have multiple shapers, each set with a specific cutter task, and you're swapping between them as necessary. So that was a closer look at shapers and a few simple accessories that can really help you make the most of your shaper. What we didn't get into was the massive array of cutter options available for a shaper. And to help you with that journey, I'll put a link to a massive assortment of shaper cutters from Grizzly Industrial. If you have a profile design in mind, we probably have a cutter to match. Thanks for watching, liking, and subscribing, and check back here for more videos like this from Grizzly Industrial.